Today, we're going to talk about a hotly debated subject: parenting tips for a child with ADHD or a child who seems to have ADHD, or you wonder if he does. If you find value in this, hit the like and subscribe button and you'll get way more parenting tips. Are you not tired of hearing the confusion about what ADHD is? Are you weary of the claims from drug companies, doctors, and other parents that medication is the answer? Just give them a pill. Then you're in the right place. Finally, you can learn about what you can do immediately with a child who has these supposedly ADHD signs and symptoms. Increasingly, neuroscientists who have no financial interest in drug companies are beginning to see that the traditional signs of ADHD, listen slowly, are identical to the signs of a child who is simply in emotional pain. It turns out that ADHD is not a disease. It's a collection of signs and symptoms that simply indicate that a child is in pain. Done. No kidding. When we understand that, we can begin to implement real treatment instead of just controlling symptoms with mind-altering medications whose long-term symptoms we don't know anything about. Not really. So here's what I'm going to teach you. The real reason your child has symptoms of ADHD, and it's not what you think, why you just can't seem to manage the behavior of this kid, no matter what you do, and what you can do to eliminate, not just manage, the list of symptoms that are disturbing your child and making you crazy. So, what are the signs of ADHD? Just a few, you know them. Forgetful. You give them a task, and 5 minutes later, they act like they don't remember you, much less what you're talking about. Poor focus. They just don't look like they're paying attention to what you're saying. Not caring. They don't seem to care about what's happening around them. Careless. They often fail to give close attention to details or make careless mistakes, like at school prominently. Outbursts of energy bouncing off the walls, interrupting. They interrupt people at activities in class and at home. They barge right in like they're the only person that exists, and they just fidget. Those are just some of them. Now, go back and look at all those symptoms again, or listen to them. You know what they are. They all describe how a child behaves who is in physical or emotional pain. Children with an earache, for example, or whose parents are constantly fighting, they also focus poorly, an ADHD symptom, and forget. They become careless because they're distracted by pain. They don't pay attention to anything but their pain. Neither do adults, by the way. They have outbursts in reaction to their pain. They interrupt people. They fidget. What am I saying? It's all about the pain. So I repeat, ADHD is not a disease. It's a collection of signs and symptoms that simply indicate that a child is in pain. And now we can do something effective and lasting and not risk the side effects long-term of ADHD medications. This can be tricky to understand. It would be understandable to have lots of questions at this point, and I'll resolve some conflicts you might be thinking now as we continue to talk, and as you continue to learn more about the effects of emotional pain on children, which you can do at reallove.com and realloveparents.com, and post all your questions at the end in the comments section. So, what is the pain causing these symptoms in our children? This is the question. Until you can answer it, you will be confused and helpless with your child. Almost no experts can answer this question, and pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know the answer. We can't understand our children until we first realize that what we all need more than anything, more than as much as air, is to feel loved. As proven by many studies, love is the ingredient necessary for happiness. And without it, we will be in pain. Just like a drowning person's in pain without air. We will feel small and helpless, and we hate that. Well, so do our children. Our children are in pain because they don't feel sufficiently loved by us. Not fun to hear. And yes, I know you love your children as well as you know how. But you were not given the kind of love you needed as a child either. So you don't have it to give. Love is both the reason for our children's pain and the answer. But we must understand that not just any kind of love will do. What we all need is unconditional love or real love, which means to care about another person without any thought for something in return. There's no disappointment or irritation in real love. You didn't get that kind of love with no disappointment or anger. So you don't have it to give your children. Nobody's fault, not your fault. How do I know that you didn't get unconditional love? Well, remember your childhood. Prove it to yourself. Remember how many times your parents or others rolled their eyes at your mistakes, or they criticized your performance, especially with a tone, or they told you they were disappointed in you with their words or their facial expression, or you just needed somebody to talk to. There was nobody there. On each of these occasions, we felt the message, I don't love you, unconsciously. Even if the wound was just a result of simple neglect. It was like being poked with a sharp stick, and our children feel the same pain. All of us, including our children, must be unconditionally loved and taught how to find and maintain our feelings of worth, taught how to find our creativity and let it blossom, taught how to identify and be responsible for our feelings. When children don't feel unconditionally loved, they'll do anything to earn our approval or protect themselves from feeling worthless, to diminish their pain. They try to please us to earn praise. When that wears off, they use anything to numb their pain. Whining, complaining, disappearing into screens, anger, endless behaviors that hurt them and annoy us. And sometimes they helplessly react to their pain with all the symptoms of ADHD. To be plain, the reason your child has all these symptoms of pain is that you were first not loved unconditionally yourself, not sufficiently, and now you don't know how to give that life-giving ingredient to them. And yes, you're doing your best, but your disappointment, irritation, or simple lack of involvement with your child, all of which happen much more often than you think, causes them pain. And reflexively, your child reacts with the symptoms that many people call ADHD. Don't feel guilty about it. It all began with the love you didn't get yourself. Take the first step right now. Say out loud these words. My child is in pain because of my disappointment, irritation, or lack of involvement, which proves that I simply don't know how to love my child unconditionally. Yes, ouch. But now we can talk about truly effective solutions. We can do something now. Is it possible to treat ADHD symptoms without medication? Oh, yes, it really is. And I know that you're looking for a cute little list of steps to take. We all are. But there is no shortcut to learning to be a loving parent, which is easily one of the most difficult jobs on earth. We must be taught how to parent. And in the ridiculously effective parenting training, you will learn how you can completely eliminate disappointment and anger from your life and theirs. And then you can learn how to unconditionally love and teach your children. That is the solution for preventing and treating your child's pain and symptoms. After 30 years of experience, I have learned that love works. But learning to receive and give it requires vulnerability and focused effort on your part. There are no easy or quick solutions, but there is a solution. I promise you that children who feel loved simply don't suffer the pain and symptoms you've seen in your child. I know this. They become happy and creative. Why? Because they have enough of what they need most, the love of a parent. Your problems and your children's problems were created over many years. How fortunate that it doesn't have to take that long to change everything. Change takes focus and practice. But loving is certainly not more difficult than the way you and your child are living now. As you learn to be loving, you will feel much happier yourself too. You'll enjoy the privilege of watching your child naturally and freely acquire confidence, creativity, and happiness. You will experience the peace of a loving home, the confidence of being a loving parent, and the joy of raising children who are loving and responsible. What could be better? Hit the like and subscribe buttons and get more. Go to realloveparents.com and get even more. experience the rich rewards of being a loving parent. And in the time until we meet again, remember that it's always about real love.